All right, welcome to the 65th episode of the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how it affects our people, Black people here in America, Africa, and the diaspora. I am your host, Brother Tamani M. Wandani, out of Houston, Texas. I'm the direct revolutionary product of one Carney and Bayou Chewy out of the Shrines of the Black Madonna, indirect revolutionary product of one Albert B. Clegg Jr., African title and name, Jaramogi Bebe Ajiman. I am also the founder of the Black Gold Nation movement, my co-host, the chief consultant for the Black Gold Nation's National Political Strategy and Implementation Department, as well as the director of our Adult Education Division. He's also the chairman of LACE, Liberation Advocates for Community Empowerment, the intellectual gangster, corporate grassroots revolutionary, and master domino assassin from Shreveport, Louisiana, AKA The Boot, Brother Craig B. Lee. Brother Craig, how you doing this evening?
I am doing absolutely irie as always, and happy to be connected to these wonderful melanated folks.
Amen, amen. So as usual, I'll keep it brief. What we're trying to do here is inform and educate for the purpose of trying to stimulate something within our people that will motivate our people to actually do something. Every single thing we say and everything we do is about bringing our people together to find the right people so we can build teams of Black people on the grassroots level who understand that all this is about power, and everything we do has to be about getting power for ourselves, keeping it, maintaining it, managing it, and expanding it. Because if we don't do that, if we don't have power, especially on a local level where we live, then of course those that do have power would structure those systems that affect our lives in ways that keep us at the bottom. So we're not trying to be on the bottom. We want to start winning some of these battles to ultimately win this war that we're born into. And of course, we cannot do that if we don't have Black people on board who know what they're doing, who are really trying to learn and be different, and who want to be a part of something that really matters. So that's why we're here. That's what we want to do. And we don't want to just inform and educate. We're trying to get you to do something. So tonight's show title is Think Global, Act Local, understanding the importance of local opportunity, power, and control. Think global, act local, understanding the importance of local opportunity, power, and control. So tonight's show came to us as a result of a question a brother asked at Brother Craig's Tuesday morning breakfast. And that question really was a small scale look at a very large problem that our people have. Our people we refuse to not accept what we can do locally because we're so focused on issues and problems that we can't change nationally or internationally. And that keeps us paralyzed. We don't want to think, we don't want to act, we don't want to do, we don't want to be responsible. And that's a big problem. So we're going to review the question that the brother asked at Tuesday morning breakfast, but let me have Brother Craig set the scene really quickly. So really quickly, Brother Craig, for those that don't know, tell us really quickly, what is Tuesday morning breakfast that you have every week?
So Tuesday morning breakfast is a concept that was conceived by my now ancestor, Mr. John Wilson, who was the co-founder of the African American Chamber of Commerce, formerly the Negro Chamber of Commerce here in the city of Shreveport. And he created this, asked me to become a co-founder of this concept in 1996. So this is our 25th year of being in existence. And initially it was a concept designed to bring African-American business owners together around the breakfast table once a week to discuss the issues that we were facing as entrepreneurs, business owners, CEOs, whatnot, and to see how we could start to collaborate and help each other. And that was the humble beginnings. And we started at Pete Harris Cafe here in Shreveport. And from that point, we have just grown. We're the only grassroots speaking bureau in the United States. Weekly, we bring public and private sector decision makers to the table to discuss the issues that not only impact African American business owners, not only the African American community of Shreveport, but the entire city of Shreveport, Parish of Caddo, and state of Louisiana. And so that is it in a nutshell. And we, bring a variety of different speakers throughout the year to impart their expertise, wisdom, understanding of private sector and public sector, corporate affairs, and grassroots community issues, the whole nine. We've entertained governors, senators, you name it, congressmen, CEOs of major corporations, the whole nine, all the way down to regular individuals who may not believe that they have a lot to offer, but they do, because there's so many intricate components to this process.
Yep.
We attempt to bring people into the awareness of a lot of these various individuals. And so that's what Tuesday Morning Breakfast is. And we're preparing in 2 weeks to celebrate our 25th year.
Wow.
And
okay. Awesome.
It's a bittersweet celebration, because my business partner, my former business partner of 20 years, Lloyd Thompson, and I have been doing this for 20 years, and he unfortunately passed last year due to coronavirus. And so I've, of course, gonna carry on the tradition until I die. And I got to cultivate some young folks, but as it stands right now, I am the epitome of the old gospel song. I'm gonna stay on the battlefield. So I'm gonna stay on the battlefield for my Lord.
That's right.
Till I die.
Okay.
That's how we rock it.
Cool. And this week's featured speaker was a brother named Mr. Versa Clark. And
Yeah.
the topic was economic development in Shreveport. So can you give a quick summation of what Brother Versa covered? Because of course that rolls into the question that the brother asked.
So I wanted Versa. We just had a bond election. The mayor was trying to push, I think, a $270 million bond passage. Revenue bonds to municipal bonds to do various things in the city of Shreveport. And there were 5 propositions, only one passed. That was the one dealing with so-called public safety and building a new goddamn police station, as if that's gonna help stop goddamn crime. So I wanted Versa to hit on that, also hit on some economic development initiatives that we have here, like I-49, which connects Shreveport, Louisiana to Canada. Everybody has pretty much finished their part all the way up to Canada, except for our punk ass, because there's been a lot of politics on this. And that's actually was the first initiative that we advocated for out of the Tuesday Morning Breakfast Group. In 1996. Yeah, okay. we advocated for that, the passage of I-49 through the inner city connector. And so Versa was hitting on that and several other initiatives that are issues that are near and dear to him, that we have discussed over the past decade that he's been back here, over the past 26 years that I've been out here on the battlefield.
Awesome. Okay, so we're going to take a quick look at the exchange, the question that the brother asked, and then of course we'll come back and talk about it. So I'm going to share my screen really quickly, and we're going to listen to this exchange. So you guys should be able to see my screen right now, right? You see it, Craig?
Yeah.
Cool. All right, here we go.
I appreciate you, Doc. Versa, you got to come back up now. And that's Dr. Raymond Hicks.
You stopped it, Tamani.
Oh, I did? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hell, I guess it has to catch up now. Oh, I think it's buffering. I don't think I paused it.
Oh, okay.
What the hell? All right. So I'll try and reload it. Give me a second to reload this thing. I don't know why it buffered like that, but give me a second to reload it.
You're gonna need to entertain us or something, bro, while that's happening.
Brother Craig, go ahead and sing that old Negro spiritual about staying on the battlefield.
Die, oh, till I die. Yeah, I'm gonna stay on the battlefield. But as he is loading the video, we have been doing this project, and it's a very good project that grassroots people can do throughout the country, and we'll be doing this in Houston as well. They're going to do it on a Wednesday versus Tuesday, but if you want to learn how to launch the project, you can just hit me up.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Citizens of the community. My only explanation for it, Greg, is that there's a lack of unified leadership. You need to have a leader.
Yeah.
Either one of those leaders
Yeah.
can step forward and say, we're going to meet once a month.
Yeah.
We're going to compare our long-term plan,
Yeah.
our 3-year plan, and
Yeah, I'm listening.
where are things that we might have to change to make sure this one impacts the other one better. Those kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I just think, we just got to take responsibility as citizens and, get some bold leadership. I mean, get some bold leadership in place. People willing to step forward. No, I'm not going to announce for mayor today, but I'm just saying you need somebody strong that's willing to take the
That's right.
chance and pull those people together. That's
Exactly. Because we definitely got to have that, Doc.
Yeah.
All right, Malik, and then we come to you, Barrett.
Thank you for that.
I appreciate you, Doc. Versa, you got to come back up now. And that's Dr. Raymond Hicks, Grambling State University former president, member of Tuesday Morning Breakfast Group. Come on, Malik.
Right. Well, it certainly is a large problem with many facets. But what do you guys think about globalism and what globalism's effect is on our local level? And is globalism just chasing the golden carrot? Because our education system is really controlled by the United Nations, UNESCO, who is bringing in the global agenda through Common Core, whose object is to dumb your kids down and make the parents look like fools. So we're fighting against billionaires with a capital B, working on a global agenda that we don't understand for the most part. And so I think that we really need to try to understand the globalist push, because the billionaires got their money behind it. Even the thing that Biden is pushing is globalism. And that's what the whole conflict between him and the ex-president Trump is. Trump was a nationalist, trying to preserve nationalism, and Biden is a globalist who is working in behalf of the big billionaires, the globalist billionaires. So how can we address, or what should we do to address those issues?
It goes back to what Doc said.
But you can't, education is UNESCO, Common Core, and unless you can get them to change those curricula.
Malik, it has nothing. Malik, that has nothing to do with it. I'm let Versa hit.
Globalism has nothing to do with it.
No. We go back to what Dr. Hicks said. Before George Soros, before any of these folks came around, to their point, they outsourced the things that were going on at Booker T to Cato Career Center. George Soros ain't have a goddamn thing to do with that.
No. Globalism started with NAFTA, and Henry Kissinger wrote the article. With NAFTA comes.
That's the 90s. That's the 90s.
Yes,
We're talking about the 70s and the 80s.
This was the run-up to that. the announcement. Now, globalism and NAFTA didn't just start in the 90s. They had been planning that from the 60s.
Malik, can you build a house from the roof down?
I'm saying,
Can you build a house from the roof down? Can you build a house from the roof down?
Take analogy to another direction. What I'm saying and stuff is, unless we address globalism and the goal of globalism and stuff.
Okay, you can't build a house from the roof down. Everything starts at the local level.
All right, so we'll pick it up from that point. So the next question, Craig, is help us understand what you were trying to get him to realize by asking him that question. Can you build a house from the roof down? Because he obviously he didn't want to go there with you, but explain to us what you were trying to get him to realize with that question.
And it frustrates me about pseudo-intellectual Negroes. And I like Malik, but he's damn near retarded. And it's the constant thing with this guy, because he wants to do pseudo-intellectualism and intellectual masturbation about concepts that are beyond the scope of anything that he can touch, see, or act upon.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever I ask people, can you build a house from the roof down? I'm asking just that. I want you to really sit back and think about what the hell you're saying.
Yep.
Because the roof is all of this stuff he's talking about, globalism. Well, you can't understand globalism unless you're dealing with your local apparatus, your private sector and your public sector apparatus at the local level. And so because he gets romanticized by the Bilderberg Group, by Skull and Bones, by all of these entities who definitely are a part of the plutocracy,
Mm-hmm.
he wants to philosophize about that.
Yep.
Like one of the big issues that he always brings up with, he doesn't bring it up now because it's in place, is goddamn 5G. And I would always tell him, what the hell are you talking about 5G for when they're working on 7G? I'm like, well, you're not going to stop these particular things. So I'm like, what is the point of you Negroes wanting to just bring up conversations that's to goddamn talk?
Right.
And you just create intellectual paralysis, more intellectual paralysis of Negroes who already don't know how to think. So that's why dealing with people like Malik over the past 26 years, that's how I was able to really hone in on the danger of reading.
Mm-hmm.
Think about what I'm saying.
Right, come on.
Damn danger of reading. What's the danger of reading? The danger of reading is if you're reading something, you do not have knowledge.
Right.
You're accessing information.
Right.
And if you're accessing information that you do not understand or comprehend, that's a goddamn dangerous thing.
Yep.
Because now you're going to go out and start to spew the information that you read as if you're a goddamn scholar. And that's what happens. So there's a danger in allowing people to read material that they're not equipped to understand or comprehend, while simultaneously you're not doing a goddamn thing in your own local realm. So now you get, caught up in believing that you're smarter than what the hell you actually are.
Right. Right. And brother Malik was focused obviously on the global issues. And he seemed to completely miss what Brother Versa was saying about the many opportunities you guys have right there in Shreveport.
Exactly.
So give us, I don't know, brother, your top 2 or 3 opportunities that you of course already know about and that Brother Versa mentioned, from the solar power street lights, which I think is absolutely awesome. to the port, to HBCU. So just give us an idea of the kind of opportunities that you are aware of in Shreveport that Brother Malik just missed.
Man, I mean, housing is one of our biggest opportunities, man. You have, man, you talking about an emergency need for affordable housing in the city of Shreveport. You know, well over 20, 30,000 people who are, you know, living below, right at the poverty line that they, the architects and engineers and managers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalism, white supremacy, racism articulate to us on an annual basis. Housing is one of your greatest opportunities. Housing for the elderly, housing for the working poor. You have I-49, over $1 billion about to be spent in the city of Shreveport. You have opportunities along the port. Shreveport has a river, 2 lakes. I mean, it's just, I mean, we are a major corridor for transportation, I-20 and now I-49. I mean, brother, that's why Amazon is building big ass distribution center here now. So you got transportation opportunities, housing opportunities, tourism opportunities. I mean, that's an abundance of opportunities. But hell, if you're constantly talking about what the hell George Soros, you believe that he's doing, which is, you don't know what the hell George Soros is doing, or the goddamn Bilderberg group, or the D9 or the D8, whatever the hell G there. You don't know a goddamn thing other than what is reported to you by the entities who are controlled by the plutocrats, which they do that so your punk ass can get caught up talking about this shit like it's the goddamn All My Children and Young and the Goddamn Restless. Instead of working to make something happen, instead of joining forces with the goddamn #1 grassroots movement in the world, which is Dads on Duty, your punk ass is sitting up talking about George Soros, which makes no damn sense.
And how long have you known Brother Malik, approximately?
For hell, 40 something, hell, damn near 50 years. His people he grew up right across the street when we were living in Lakeside before we moved to Queensboro. So he's a few years older, but again, and I've seen how he's basically lost his goddamn mind over the years. You know,
and he's retired, right?
Hell no, he's not retired.
Oh, okay. Oh, does he do anything with you on the grassroots level in Shreveport?
Hell no, he never did nothing. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
He never did nothing.
And
one minute he's a goddamn Moore, the next minute he's a damn 5%, the next minute he's a goddamn Rastafarian. I'm like, Malik, sit your goddamn ass down. I said, but I appreciate you being a case analysis for me over the past damn 26 years. I use these Negroes as case analysis.
Sure,
but, you know, and every now and then he'll make a good goddamn point. Every now and then.
And after that question he asked, and you guys talked a little bit, the back and forth, Brother Versa went to talk about the importance of local leadership. And I thought when he got to that, it was absolutely phenomenal, because that's what we were talking about last week, the importance of local leadership. So for those that missed last week, give us a brief understanding of why having local leadership, per the many opportunities you guys have in Shreveport, why does having local leadership that knows what it's doing so important per those opportunities you just mentioned? Because Brother Versa talked about it right after he got there talking about globalism.
I like what Naru just said.
I noticed that, yeah.
Right, twice a day, and that's true. His janky ass. I mean, and hell, I don't even know if he's right. Hell, once a day shit. But anyway, if you don't have leaders at the local level, or I mean, again, everything starts there, who comprehend how this thing works in the public and the private sector, city council, parish commission, the school board, other boards that help recommend policy for the elected officials, I mean, you're doomed. I mean, because everything flows.
Yep.
The federal money flows to the local level, from the local to the federal, back to the local, from the local to the state, back to the local, and from the local to the local. You don't understand, have people in leadership, you just gonna be ass out.
Yep.
And so you're not going to know how to structure yourself. And I mean, Dr. Tara Jones is a great example. She got skills. And so I was already able to plug her in to opportunities here that's now about to morph into opportunities in Atlanta, Georgia, because she has built a solid relationship with my colleague, Leon Wheeler, who has been on the battlefield with me with different economic issues in the city of Shreveport since we connected in 1995. And I've had to cuss his ass out and put his ass in check. And over the years, he got better. He's older than I am, but he had never been in major corporate business. So a lot of these Negroes, I have to check them because they're perpetrating a fraud. But Leon cares about the people, and that's how we got connected through the African American Chamber of Commerce. And he has been a longstanding member of Tuesday Morning Breakfast Group. So now I get Tara to connect and bring her skills to the table. Hell, if there were no opportunities, how is she doing the business development, business training for our Fair Share certified firm?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But I knew I needed somebody from outside who I could trust, because these Negroes here didn't have the skill set to be able to rock and roll.
Mm-hmm.
Negro female here who is garnered a contract based on my work on the Fair Share program via the disparity study, and she ain't called me yet, and she got the contract because Leon wanted to give the contract to a Negro local, and she don't even know what the hell she's doing. We just got through talking about the shit tonight at my partner's benefit toy drive. And so, you know, the experiences that I've had from Xavier, I mean, starting in Shreveport, going to Xavier, being in corporate, and being out here on the battlefield as an entrepreneur and corporate grassroots revolutionary for the past 26 years. I mean, dude, you'll be hard pressed to find somebody with my skill set anywhere in the world. I'm just being honest with you.
Yeah.
So it's mandatory that there are more Craig Lees created in different cities, so that they can really understand the complexity of all of these things. Hence, all of this has prepared me for the opportunities that we have now with Dads on Duty, man. It's just the creative work, you know?
Yeah. And I want people to understand, and I guess it takes some being around you and spending time with you to fully realize, you know, a little bit as to how your brain works. You use, and most people may not catch this, and I only catch it because I've been around you for so long, or we've had so many conversations. You use Negro and Black on purpose. Explain to people really quickly why you use Negro to categorize certain people on purpose, but you use Black to categorize other people on purpose, so they'll know that you're not talking about the same group of people. So why do you say Negro for one group and Black for another group?
Because both entities are different tribes, if you will, of African descendants in America. The Negro is the melanated African descendant creation of the architects, engineers, and managers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalist white supremacy. They function as a mental slave in the system to help propagate and promote the agenda of the architects, engineers, and managers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalist white supremacy, whether knowingly or unknowingly. Black folks, which unfortunately most people believe that Black is skin pigmentation, but it's not. It's the state of mind of African descendants in America and abroad, as Malcolm would say, throughout the diaspora, who are about the business of liberating, empowering, and advancing African descendants worldwide. And so it is important that you know the difference between these two groups of African descendants, because all your skin folk ain't your kinfolk. All your damn kinfolk ain't Black. And so if you don't know this, you'll get caught up trying to mobilize and organize with Negroes when that ain't never gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen.
Right.
Okay. It has been tried. It has been proven that that is not going to happen. So you gotta know who these entities are, and they are blockers. Their job is to be the all-star, all-pro offensive lineman for the goddamn architects, engineers, and managers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalistic white supremacy. So if you naively continue to try to maneuver with all of these entities simply because of skin pigmentation, you're gonna keep on getting your goddamn head bashed.
That's right. That's right. So thank you for that quick education on the difference between Negro and Black. And for anyone who wants to dig a little deeper and to learn a little more, go back to episodes, 1 through 4 or 5. We repeatedly talk about the 6 factions of African descendant, because it's not just Black and Negro. There 4 others that are categorized with both. And it's very, very, very important that we know the difference, because not only will you waste time trying to bring a group together that is not like you, but that group could, you could definitely lose your life, because they are not your allies for sure. And hell, that's why Brother Malcolm is not here anymore for that very reason. Okay, so if you missed the beginning of the show, you listened to the Revolutionary Code, where we bring the truth about how governmental politics actually works in every facet of human existence and how that affects our people, Black people here in America, Africa, and the diaspora. This is our 65th episode. Tonight's show title is Think Global, Act Local, Understanding the Importance of Local Opportunity, Power, and Control. I'm your host, Brother Tamani Mwandani. I'm the founder of the Black Gold Nation, and Brother Craig is our chief consultant for political strategy and implementation, as well as he's over our adult education division. Okay, Brother Craig, next question. So our people seem to be afraid of personal responsibility. We run from what we can do to complain about what we can't do. Case in point, and we went over this a little bit last week as well. Case in point, how large is the city of Shreveport's budget?
Right now, it's roughly $400 to $500 million, which is half of what it was when I first arrived here and relocated back to Shreveport in 1994.
Okay, why is it half? I didn't know that.
Because we lost goddamn population.
Oh, okay, all right.
And we've lost corporations. When you go from 200 and roughly 20,000 down to 185,000, you lose federal funding. 200,000 is a very important number. So you lose federal funding, then you lose sales tax revenue, you lose real estate, residential and commercial property tax revenues. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you lose that, and that's into the deal. So when I came back here, we still had General Motors, which is now shut down. We had Gould Battery, which is now shut down. These are manufacturing facilities. We had Atlas refinery, which is now shut down.
Okay.
I think we still had Lucent Technologies, which is now shut down.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then our school system, we've gone from 60,000. Okay, Naru asked a good question. Is it due to gentrification? Gentrification is not the reason that we lost population. We lose population because of the lack of leadership, because the leadership doesn't know how to help stimulate businesses to hire people, and we lose population because Shreveport is, along with New Orleans and Baton Rouge, in the top 10 with murder in the United States.
Yeah.
So boom, we go from 60,000 students in the Caddo Parish school system when I was here to now right under 40,000. You see, so the drop in population is consistent. We say what majority of people go: Dallas, Texas, Houston, Texas, Atlanta, Georgia. And they so crazy because Negroes ain't got no goddamn skills, so all they're doing is they're going to work still low-end jobs that may pay them $15 an hour. But guess what? The cost of living is much more.
That's right.
Our people and that's not only Shreveport, the majority of people just do not have a clue about the philosophy, the system, and the game of capitalistic white supremacy racism, which is predicated on the creation, maintenance, and expansion of a permanent underclass. There is no such concept in this system called equality. The best thing that you can try to achieve is equity. And if you're not, if you're confused about what the hell equality is versus equity, I mean, you really need to go back to goddamn elementary and start to learn Janet and Mark and Socks and, hear Spot Run, because that's what this is. And they purposely don't teach you these things in elementary, junior high, high school, college, because they do not want you to compete with the power base that runs this system.
Right. And I want people to listen closely to the next 2 points that I'm going to make per Brother Craig. So as I stated, our people seem to be afraid of personal responsibility and doing the work. So I asked Brother Craig how large the city of Shreveport's budget is, and Brother Craig, your answer to that was what? How large is the budget?
500 million.
400-500 million. And how large is Shreveport?
We are a mid-sized city, so we're roughly, population-wise, I think 115, 118 in the United States by population. By square miles, we are top 20, top 30 city by square miles. Shreveport is very large.
Okay.
By square mile, we're larger than Oakland, we're larger than San Francisco, we're larger than Atlanta, we're larger than New York. I mean, it's 133 square miles. I mean, it's a large area.
Awesome. Okay, and again, we talked about this as well last week. You have concrete plans to increase both Shreveport's revenue generation and population, correct?
Well, you increase the population and you increase the revenue. Yeah.
Right. And this will do what? Increasing both of these things will do what for the people in the city of Shreveport?
Well, if you're in control of the political apparatus and you have private sector leverage, and now you go from 190,000 to, let's say, 500,000, brother, I mean, you got a gangster amount of money. Now do import export with Africa, the Caribbean. You can turn Shreveport into Wakanda.
That's right.
And you have resources to do so. And you have the military protection to do so, because you would be in control of the police department, the sheriff department, the Marshal's Department, and then you build your relationship. We have the third largest military installation between Shreveport and our twin city of Bossier Parish, and that is Barksdale Air Force Base, which most Negroes don't even think about in terms of penetrating to generate revenue.
Right.
Barksdale is the largest employer in North Central Louisiana.
Yeah.
But again, these are things that, because our folks have not been
That's right.
trained to understand how all of this works, they never penetrate this multi-billion dollar operation that they don't tap into, that the federal government controls. It's
Right. And that's the point. So does focusing on George Soros or the Bilderberg Group or anybody else on that level, is that going to stop you from implementing your plans for Shreveport?
You already see, I remember this white lady. I was at an editorial meeting about 20 years ago, and she said, "Oh, excuse me, are you a reporter?" And I smiled at her and I say, "No, ma'am, I make the news. I don't report it."
Yeah. So
no, nothing is going to stop what I'm doing in the city of Shreveport by way of George Soros or any of these folks, because I understand that you can't build a house from the roof down. And there's nothing that, if you go through the 5 episodes of Plutocracy, ain't a goddamn thing you gonna do with cats who's sitting on $1 trillion damn dollars. I mean, they can smoke your ass today, and get one of your cousins to do it while you're sitting up here talking about this damn foolishness. So your best bet is to go on and sell some damn Rastafarian hats and try to figure out some way of maneuvering in this gangsta ass game, since you want to operate as an individual versus working as a team member with somebody like myself.
Yeah, and that's the first point. If you guys missed last week's episode, and even if you did, you go back and watch it again. I asked Brother Craig about, I don't know, 8, 9 questions about the city of Shreveport. He didn't know I wasn't going to ask those questions. We don't prep. I prep for the show. He don't prep. I just ask him a bunch of questions. We pick a topic and we go. And I want you guys to listen to his understanding of the city that he lives in. That's my first point. What Brother Craig, as we discussed last week, is planning to do, along with a corporate or the corporate grassroots revolutionary team that he is building or has built and will continue to build, is one man's plan in one city. That's the point. One man's plan in one city that he's actively doing. That's the first point. The second point, Brother Craig, what did our people do from 1864 to 1944 in this country?
They created over 200 Black townships throughout the country, as far northeast as Maine, as far northwest as Alaska, as far southwest as California, as far southeast as Florida, and all points in between, from 1864 to 1944, without knowing a goddamn thing about the Bilderberg Group, without knowing any damn thing about motherfucking what do they call it? Well, he wasn't around at that point in time. But the
Rockefellers, perhaps.
The Rockefellers,
the Chases,
DuPont, any of the secret societies. Look, man, they did more.
Come on.
With less.
Yep. Yeah.
We have more, and we're doing less.
Right.
It's just asinine.
Yeah.
And that's why when guys would talk about the prototype of so-called Black Wall Street, I would tell them there is no prototype for Black Wall Street. And they were like, "What are you talking about? Tulsa, Oklahoma, Greensboro, North Carolina." I said, they never existed. I know it's going to shock them to the core that I would say that, but they constantly go, and I'm like, look, bro, the reason I'm going to tell you that these cities never existed is because we were forced. We were forced.
Right. It wasn't a choice.
Each other. It was not organic.
Yep.
And so the only way that you know whether or not those cities are legit is what happens after the introduction of pseudo-integration in 1972, 73, 74.
Yeah.
And those 200 Black townships, only about 35 of them still exist. And of those 35, they're hanging on by a string.
Yeah, yeah. And as you said, and this was my next question, but you've already answered it. From 1864 to 1944, we built over 200 different geographic spaces for ourselves in this country. Haven't done anything since then, but we did it 200 times. And you just said there were global power entities during these times, right?
Hell, goddamn, yeah.
and did that matter or stop Black people?
Didn't stop a goddamn thing. And not only were there global powers, God damn it, there were local powers called the Ku Klux Klan and
That's
the
right.
Council. And in spite of all of the danger, in spite of all of the real threats to getting a cat busting your damn ass, our people still persevered and built. So when I hear, and my uncles, Giles D. Moore and Almonte Moore were two of them. They migrated from Wascom, Texas, right across the border from Shreveport, and they bought up over 1,000 acres of land in the unincorporated area outside of Shreveport at that time. And they created their vision, Moore's Town, a self-contained Black community. And what's so killing, my uncle was a member of Marcus Garvey's Back to Africa movement, but Garvey did not utilize his expertise and other brothers who had built towns.
Right.
Like you knew Garvey didn't know what the hell he was doing.
Right.
Because he was talking about back to Africa when you had brothers who had already built towns, and my uncle was one of them. But he loved his focus on unity, so he linked up. And my uncle was Masonic Brothers with the third African-American Lieutenant Governor of the state of Louisiana, C.C. Antoine Cesar Carpenter Antoine. And Cesar Carpenter Antoine, they were members of the Prince Hall Masonic Lodge. And Cesar Carpenter Antoine wrote the charter that incorporated the town of Shreve into the city of Shreveport. He is the principal architect of the first government in this goddamn city. And my uncle was his Masonic brother. And I am now the vanguard for both of those legacies in the damn city. So when I hear a Negro tell me about the damn Bilderberg and the damn Rockefellers and the global, like, sit your punk ass down. These folks send spaceships up in the air to look at your ass from your porch.
Right.
What you gonna do about that?
Right. Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Not a goddamn thing.
So
but talk about it.
I'm gonna ask you this next question twice, because this is my second point. Can what you're planning to do in Shreveport be duplicated in other predominantly Black villages, towns, small and mid-sized cities?
That's why I'm doing it the way that I'm doing it. But
Yeah.
I will say this, although I'm putting the prototype, the proof of concept together, be replicated, duplicated. What I've come to learn over these 26 years, man, if you are not about, I will give it to Martin Luther King. When I decided the Creator led me, the ancestors led me to leave corporate America in May of 1995. when I read that quote by Martin Luther King where he said, if a man isn't willing to die for something, he ain't fit to live.
Right.
Brother, I asked myself that day, God damn it, what am I willing to die for?
Mm-hmm.
Negroes died for Michael Jordan tennis shoes. They died for Punani. They died for money, status, materialism, all kind of bullshit. I said, Craig, what are you willing to die for? And I made it up in my mind that day. I'm willing to die for the same thing that my uncle, who I didn't even know at the time, Giles D. Moore Jr., was willing to die for. I was willing to die for the same thing that C.C. Antoine and all these other courageous, phenomenal people were willing to die for. And that was the liberation, empowerment, and advancement of our people.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm built differently.
Yeah.
So when the Negroes be playing these games here, you know, as they're playing games with my little partner Mike Lafitte right now, I'm built different.
Mm-hmm.
You come for me, I'm looking to split your goddamn weed.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna pray for you, I'm gonna pray for your death. I'm not playing no games with you. And so, yes, I'm doing the proof of concept, the prototype that could be replicated or duplicated. But bro, you gotta have some grassroots hybrids who are willing to put it on the damn line. Hell, you don't die the goddamn way.
Yeah, and I don't know. Well, I don't think people are paying attention because the things that we discuss on this show, this podcast, they really are revolutionary things that can work. I asked you if what you're planning to do in Shreveport, Louisiana, can be duplicated in other predominantly Black spaces in this country, and you said, yeah, but you got to be ready for it. You got to be a hybrid. You got to be built for the struggle because it ain't for punks. If you're gonna do it, you need to take time to understand it and really realize what you're getting into. Now, this article was written in 2019, so it's relevant and it's timely. American cities in which Blacks constitute a majority of the population, what we call Black majority cities, are on the rise. They include the core cities of metropolitan areas like Detroit, Baltimore, and Memphis, as well as smaller suburban municipalities like East Cleveland, Ohio, Wilkinsburg, Pennsylvania, and Ferguson, Missouri. Black majority cities, which include cities, towns, and other census designated places, numbered 460 at the 1970 census and 1148 by the 2010 census. And as of the latest census estimates, 2017, there are 1,262 Black majority cities, an increase of more than 100 such cities during this decade alone. 1,262 Black majority cities, an increase of 100. And there's one other article, which is just an image I want to share. And I want you guys to think about what Brother Craig has shared last episode, this episode, and how what he's planning to do is one man's plan in Shreveport. One man's plan in Shreveport. If we had a case analysis, a case study, a proof of concept of how a majority Black space can be ran by a team of people who are connected to the grassroots and understand how to do it, then we could most certainly create the kind of change that we need in this country, because Brother Craig is alive and well and he exists. If we follow his lead and follow the lead of other persons we have in national positions of leadership in the Black Gold Nation, then we can cover our bases politically, agriculturally, spiritually. As Brother Craig said, we can connect to other African nations and do business on a completely different level. We can understand local business. We can understand international business. We can do whatever we want to do. And as Brother Craig has also said repeatedly, if you take care of business locally, you can run that city like it's your own small country. There is nothing you can't do if you control that space politically. And what we're saying is we can do that in multiple locations if we simply took time to learn how it's done, learn the system, learn how it operates. We can make some things happen. Last two questions, Brother Craig. What is stopping us from doing what you are about to do and you've started to do in Shreveport? What's stopping Black people from doing that nationwide in those predominantly Black spaces? What's stopping us?
Number one is Negroes.
Mm-hmm.
Because remember, they're the blockers for the architects, engineers, and managers of the philosophy, system, and game of capitalist white supremacy. And then number two, even for those who are Black, African descendants, the mind.
Yep.
It's the Negroes blocking in our own mind. So in essence, us,
Mm-hmm.
we're stopping us.
Yeah. So
that's just it in a short.
So if we got our minds right, that opens up everything, correct?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So the title of tonight's show is Think Global, Act Local, understanding the importance of local opportunity, power, and control. From last week's episode to tonight's episode, it should be clear as to what we can do and how we can do it. There's opportunity. We just got to seize it. And as Brother Craig often says, it's right there for the taking if we're willing to put in the work. And I was tempted to play what you said when you came back up to the mic and you said, let me just say a few things.
Yeah.
We have to put in the work. We got to stop focusing on things that we have zero control over.
No,
you got to be willing to put in the work to create the kind of change that we want. So with that, Brother Craig, that goes to the last question. You get one takeaway from tonight's episode to ensure everybody will have this one takeaway with them for the rest of their lives. If you only get one takeaway, out of all the things we've covered, you get one takeaway to make sure they have with them for the rest of their lives. What would that one takeaway be? You
can't build a house from the roof down.
There you go.
It's just the bottom line. And you had asked something earlier about, the Negroes being paralyzed and why, it was the accountability, personal responsibility question. See, a lot of this, all you got to do is go back to study some of the gospel songs that Negroes sing. And I love the songs, but you got to analyze. Some of the songs are liberating. Like,
oh, sure. Oh, no doubt. Yeah.
Like the mind, I'm gonna let it shine. Some of them are liberating.
Some of them are.
But there's one song in particular that hits on the lack of responsibility, and this goddamn song called "Jesus Will Fix It." Yeah. And the damn song "Trouble in My Way." I have to cry sometimes. Trouble in
I know that
way.
song. Yeah, I know that song.
In my way, I have to cry. Jesus, He will fix. So no matter whatever goddamn trouble you're going through, Jesus will fix. Not your punk game.
And you know what doesn't help, Brother Craig, is that we do it so well. We'll take a slave song and just make it funky because it's what we do.
And so now what happened? Personal responsibility is out the goddamn way.
Out the window. Because Jesus is gonna fix it.
Jesus gonna fix it.
That's right. All right.
Goddamn ass.
All right, on that note, that concludes tonight's show. We are literally 30 seconds under 1 hour. That's pretty good. I don't know how we keep doing that, but that's pretty good. Brother Naru has turned his camera on. That means Q&A time for Brother Naru. Your first question and/or answer for Brother Craig.
Yeah, I got a few tonight. Brother Craig, first of all, great as usual. I want to ask a little bit about the Tuesday morning breakfast. Can you speak about some of the businesses and partnerships that have developed out of that for the last 25 years? And the second part is, do you guys have an investment group that is associated with that? And if not, why not?
Good question.
No investment group because it's just been a few grassroots people, myself and Lloyd, maneuvering it And you ain't gonna find just a lot of progressive minded, grassroots people in Shreveport. So that's that answer.
That's unfortunate.
That's unfortunate. Because again, Naira, we can get anybody. We ain't never had to even pay for a goddamn speaker. Unto my lieutenant governor, we got connected with all of them. As it relates to the question about different business relationships that have morphed out of this, I remember a guy, this is a prime example. This guy had been trying to get a contract with our local McDonald's operator, Mr. Roy Griggs, and he would have been unsuccessful. And he reached out to me and was like, man, I really need an introduction to Mr. Roy Griggs. And just so happens, we were, during Black History Month, we feature movers and shakers and whatnot. So Mr. Griggs just so happens going to be speaking. So I said, hey, man, come to Tuesday morning breakfast, put your ass on the stoop, come get presentable. And he was trying to get a garbage, a sanitation contract, to pick up the trash, because he was an independent sanitation guy. And so he came to Tuesday morning breakfast group, had a suit on, stood up and talked to Mr. Griggs, and he was able to get a contract, out of that.
Nice.
So that's what we do. We don't advocate per se out of Tuesday morning breakfast. Now, on I-49, we did do that, but typically we bring the people to the table. I'm going to ask the toughest questions in the United States of these folks, and we don't. There's nothing scripted. We allow the grassroots to ask questions. We don't get caught up in all this kind of debate rhetoric, but we want you to engage the folks. And then afterwards, we allow people to network and maneuver. Dr. Jones was able to network. Last week, we had a phenomenal sister, Marion Clayville Brooks. And man, she gave a phenomenal talk on real estate, and she's just off the chain. So now, Dr. Jones and her, they're about to do business together, and she's already on my empowerment team here, and so that's what we do. Sister Cher tunes in on a regular basis and watches, and she took a lot from that discussion, and is now going to implement certain things in Houston, because she was already looking at some of the things that Sister Marion was talking about. And so that's how we help to navigate and get people structured, to maneuver. So if the mayor comes, most people have never, met the mayor, and they believe it's some kind of, meeting like Jay-Z and goddamn Beyonce. We people to your local arena. And then we have I'm so proud of my little nephew, Damian Chapman. His father and I went to high school together. His dad was 3 years older than myself, but we were in the band together in Orlando. That's the restaurant is named after his father. And so Orlando, man, I didn't think I would see another person who grinded as hard as Orlando. But man, Damien, I'm so proud of that cat. And in 2 weeks, when next week, we're doing our pre-Kwanzaa celebration that we always do and getting people ready for Kwanzaa. So we're doing free breakfast on that. And then for the third day of Kwanzaa, Ujima, we're doing free breakfast, but we're going to celebrate our 25th year anniversary of Tuesday Morning Breakfast Group. We're going to celebrate the life and legacy of my former business partner, Lloyd Thompson. And then we're going to celebrate Damien in this beautiful new facility. It's 100 years they're the oldest, longest continually running family-owned restaurant enterprise in the goddamn country. From 1921 starting with Freeman and Harris, then going into the 1990s with Pete Harris, then into the 2000s with Brothers Cafe, and now Damien with Orlando's. Same family members, different generations, and I'm just so proud of the brother. And then we're going to also celebrate 102 years for the Shreveport Sun, which is the oldest African-American newspaper in the state of Louisiana. We're going to do all that on the third day of Kwanzaa Ujima, on the 28th.
Fabulous. Sounds like a great group. All right, last question. And it's kind of like gears towards you and some stuff that happened here in Oakland a while back. So, you know, sometimes we identify candidates and we push them from the grassroots. What has happened here in the past is that outside forces have come in with financial backing to run against our candidates and put a lot of money in the ad space and flyers and things like that to sway the vote. I'm wondering if you perceive that happening in your candidacy, that someone might want to come from the outside to pump in funds and run a candidate against you. These people are also, of course, backing an alternate candidate. Wondering what you thought about that perception and how you would combat that if that was happening in your Shreveport.
That's a great question, and all those types of things is part of the game. And the only way that you can mitigate those situations, you got to count the votes.
Yep.
So you got to count the votes, and you can't do that a month, 2 months, 4 months before an election. You got to do that a year, 2 years in advance. You got to count the vote. Even with somebody who is as high has as high visibility as myself, and someone who is high profile as myself for 26 years, I got to knock on doors and I got to lock down commitment. Now, the way that this typically works, the reason that my game plan is different than basically anybody else in the United States, most people go after people who vote, high volume voters.
That's right.
I could give a damn about them for the most part, because most of them are your stupid people. You say, what do you mean? Well, most people who vote don't know what the hell they're doing anyway. They are controlled typically by either the Democratic Party or the Republican Party, or their goddamn pastor or something like that.
True.
So only about 10% of them vote for the best candidate. Most of these people are going to vote identity politics, party affiliation, church affiliation, and shit. Some people just like, who you vote for, girl? Who you vote for, baby? I'm gonna vote for them too, baby. So they don't even know what the hell they're doing. So we still deal with them, but that's not our focus. Our focus is on the people who don't vote. Naru?
Yes, sir.
Why is our focus on the people who don't vote?
Because that's higher, bro. That's more people. More
people who do not vote than who vote.
Yeah,
that's right.
Totally.
They're irrationally emotional and they're uneducated. So I want to go to those people who don't vote. Hell, over 70% of the people don't go vote. Mm-mm. So now, if you can lock down 35% of the people who don't go vote, while those, like the people that come in and put the money behind another candidate, they're putting the money behind the most likely voters. See, the people who don't vote, they're invisible. You see? And so that's our focus, right? And for the first time out of the 3 times that I've run, this is the first time that I don't have a wife and having to help her campaign and help her raise her 2 children. And, bruh, I mean, each time that I've run, I've had so many other responsibilities. Now, I still got responsibilities, but it's not as much in this particular case. You know, I was never anticipating dads on duty, but that's a good issue to have. It's not a problem, but it is an issue that I have to contend with because my timing has to be tight and right.
But that's a good platform for you as well, though. You know.
Exactly. Oh, the creator's shaping things up, brother. I'm talking about the stars are in alignment. So now we leverage the money. I hit the streets. We leverage 7,350 commitments to vote. Get 90% of them to do what they commit to do by way of absentee voting, early voting, and then we leave the election day voting to the high volume voters, most likely voters. We're gonna go into office, goddamn it. And I become the first corporate grassroots revolutionary in the history of the United States to become an elected official, non-politician, goddamn it.
That's fantastic, bro. Thank you for that information. That was great.
All right. Does anybody else have a question or comment for Brother Craig? Any questions or comments going once?
I can't believe Mike on that head.
Oh no. I just got to the house. I did have a question though regarding the political landscape in 2022 midterm, and how, based on your formula and your algorithm about the voters locally and then statewide and national, how would that play out with us, skinfolk?
I don't even think about it, Brother Mike, because Negroes ain't controlling the goddamn thing at the national level. So it's irrelevant. I'm just gonna be honest with you. With my formula, Brother Mike, here's how this works, brother. It doesn't matter. You're not gonna control anything at the federal level. You're not gonna control anything at the state level in any state. Follow me now. Follow me. That's why I'm always saying you can't build a house from the roof down. So you say, well, damn, Craig, we gotta get congressmen and state senators and shut up. This is what you do. Once you lock down your local apparatus, control of your city council, control of your parish county commission, control of your school board, executive branch, mayor, get you some judicial seats, city court, district court, lock down some of your board, lock down your sheriff's office, your goddamn police department, your marshal's department, your coroner, your damn DA. You lock those things down. Now you take control of your Negro state rep seat. Now, at the state level, you don't go try to change policy for the goddamn state because you ain't got the votes. This is a goddamn team sport. You ain't got the votes. So what do? You now leverage white support for your politics where? In your damn territory. Get it? See, the white folks will help leverage resources for your territory as long as you ain't trying to change the goddamn state. So now, what do you do at the federal level? It wouldn't matter. Like, let me break this down for you, bro, Mike. We were read into the congressional record, Dad's on duty, by a Ku Klux Klan member. Look, by a Republican. Most Negroes say he in the Klan. We don't care because this issue is a non-partisan issue. So Mike Johnson, the Democratic congressional folks are just as blind to our issues as the Republicans. We're about to get read into the Senate record by someone who would be, people would say, oh, he's in the Klan too. That's our Dr. Our senator, I can't even think of his name right now. But we were just on the phone with him a few weeks ago. They're going to help leverage resources for us at the local level. So while Negroes are saying they're Klan members, and I'm like, y'all don't even understand the game. Because the Democrats ain't gonna do nothing for you. And we're independent. So we're not caught up in the partisan deal. And so if you call our congressman a Klan member or our senator Klan member, guess what we gonna do? We just gonna look at you and we said we're gonna rock and roll because we're leveraging resources for our local territory. Because you're not changing policy at the national level. So when we're talking about midterms, that's kind of like, man, those things are they are irrelevant. I'm being honest with you. They're irrelevant. The focus is at the local level. You handle up locally, white folks will help you do some things at the local level. Now you're creating your own country at the local level. And the white folks say, hey man, let's help those Negroes.
More power to you.
You ain't in the highway.
Right. Do your thing over there. Yeah, no problem.
You understand, Mike?
Y'all stay over there.
Brother Mike,
No,
you understand?
I catch on to that, Craig. And I appreciate the answer.
But we can't get caught up in the midterms. Look, man, bro, none of that matters. None of that matters, man. It ain't gonna matter who you put in no damn office in the Congress or the Senate, bro. You ain't controlling no damn votes. That's just an illusion, man. I'm gonna go to Washington and I'm going to root out the corruption. You're a goddamn lie. You ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. You ain't got no damn votes. You ain't got no damn votes. And if you understand this at the local level, for example, here in the city of Shreveport, there's 7 city council seats. What's the majority of 7? Anybody? What's the majority of 7?
4.
4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
Or 7.
Yep.
In order to pass legislation, you need 4 votes.
Yep.
What if the mayor vetoes the passage of their legislation? Now you need 5 votes. So going into this game, you need to have 5 people of the same philosophical mindset to be in position. So if the mayor vetoes the legislation, you know you already got 5 votes. Now the question is this, Mike, how many congressional seats are there in the United States Congress? Brother Mike?
You left.
I didn't hear the last part. I broke up a little. What'd you say?
How many seats are there in the United States Congress?
How many seats?
Yeah, you can look it up.
House of Representatives 435 and Senate 100.
All right. It's 100 in the Senate, 435 in the Congress, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Is it easier to control 5 goddamn votes or try to control 300 goddamn votes?
Well, depend on what side you're on, because the Senate doesn't do a goddamn thing. I don't like, they worthless. But right now, the standard is probably easier to route 300.
Mm.
You can't.
No, Mike, you didn't understand the question.
Get that done.
Mike, you didn't understand the question. Is
Say
it easier to control 5 votes or 300 votes?
5 votes.
There you go.
Exactly. So why am I now? 5 votes exist in the same goddamn city. To control 300 votes, they're coming from where, Mike?
All over.
All
over the goddamn country, Mike. Do you know all of the people who control all of those 300 votes?
Probably
quite
not.
a bit. There's a lot of varied interest.
I'm breaking this down, Mike, so you can really understand how this works.
Okay.
There are people who control every person who gets elected to the Congress and to the Senate. Do you know who all of those people are? There are 100 senators, all of them rich, and there are 100, and most of them are lawyers and doctors. And then there are 435 congressional folks, most of them rich, some of them doctors, lawyers. Do you know everybody who controls each one of those people?
Not really. I could do some research.
It's easier to control 5 votes at the local level than to control. Now watch what's about to happen in 2022. Somebody say, well, Craig, y'all going after $1 million of funding on GoFundMe. What are y'all going to do with $1 million? I say, I don't know. And they said, what do you mean? I say, because we ain't going after $1 million. We're going after $100 million. Now I can tell you what we're going to do with $100 million. Programs, projects, and businesses. Where we going to get $100 million from? That same goddamn United States Congress that I just talked to you about. The same United States Senate. These corporations. Why? Because we have our issue is innocuous. It's innocuous. It's harmless. You see? So now everybody wants to talk about what? Dads on duty. Now write a check. Who you writing a check to? A grassroots organization who is about the business of transforming the minds and the spirits of youth. See, we can get that done, Mike, but we're not going to control 300 votes, Mike.
That's right.
No, I got you.
That's right.
Now we can take that money, Mike, and control what, Mike? 5 goddamn votes at the local level.
At the local level. You're right.
That's right. That's right.
All politics is local.
Yes, sir.
All politics is local, brother.
And politics is war. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I damn questions. I'm feeling like LeBron and goddamn MJ right now. Feed me, put me in the game, coach.
No, more like Steph Curry.
It don't matter. Yeah, I feel like all of them.
All right, well, I got to go. So, Brother Craig, give us a quick update. Give us a quick update on Dads on Duty to let everybody know where you guys are at, and then we can close this thing out.
Man, we just dropped our. Can I share this video? It's only like 3 minutes.
Yeah, hold on. Give me a second. All right, there you go.
All right. We show y'all a little something. Yes, Rastafari. Rasta. Boom. Boom the cloud. I don't know, it might, oh yeah, that's right. It didn't let me, it's not gonna let me do it. Hold on, it might let me do it. It might let me do it, let me see. Didn't let me do it earlier. Let me see. It might let me do it. It might let me do it.
There you go.
So we just spoke in North Little Rock. We just launched our second chapter partnership with the North Little Rock School District. And let's see if this.
It might just be me, but I can't hear the audio.
Craig, you know there's no sound? Great. Brother Craig, can you hear me? Because I don't have any sound on my end.
No, I can't hear anything either.
Yeah, Brother Craig, there's no sound. Did you click the share sound when you shared the video? Let me see if I can do it on my end. So I can unshare. Stop the share, view options. All right, let me see if I can do it from my end. Give me a second.
It didn't play?
It was playing, but we couldn't hear it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand that. Somebody.
Yeah, let me see if I can do it on my end. Give me a quick second.
Yeah. Man, I mean, that's a hell of an interview they did with Forrest. And by the way, we've been featured as of last Friday. Wall Street Journal ran a hell of an article on us and the Southwood School. And so these are concepts that I had envisioned 20-something years ago that we, become innocuous so that we can leverage resources back into the community from a straight up grassroots initiative.
And you shared that with both Lloyd and I, right? I think you did. Okay, give me a second. I gotta find it.
And if you go to do a Google Dads on Duty North Little Rock, it'll come up.
Oh, that might take longer. I should be to find the article in a second.
So, Brother Craig, this is Shannon. I just have a quick question. When did you guys start Dads on Duty?
September 20th.
So, like this year?
Yeah.
Wow, that's powerful. And I asked because I'm in Colorado, and there's been a lot of violence with like our younger boys. One of my friends' son, his friend got murdered at school a couple weeks ago, like right in front of the school.
Wow.
There was a drive-by at the school. So what you're doing is phenomenal, and we definitely need Dads on Duty here in Colorado, like no lie.
Yeah, and Sister Shannon, I want to thank you for that compliment. And we now, our first chapter partner was Las Vegas, the 5th largest school district in the country. And so the concept, phase 1 is the security safety phase, where we work in concert with the school administration, faculty, staff, and security. But what we do is we bring a customer service oriented form of protection there where we now engage the student where the typical security is not engaging. So we're doing that so that we can build a relationship rapport with the student. And then what now happens is they start to feed us information. Our vice president, Mike Morgan, prevented 2 murders outside of Southwood over the past month based on the intelligence gathering from building those relationships.
Wow, that is amazing. Yeah, I actually got an email earlier from my son's school about DPS getting threats through TikTok. I don't know.
Oh yeah.
Like I homeschool my daughter, so
yeah,
she's good.
We got a game plan for that as well, but he'll gonna play video.
A great
Wow.
program. Hope ads.
Bring it back to my.
Yeah, I don't know why
Great.
It played when I tested it. Now it's not, it's not meant to be.
Well, if it doesn't play, I'll send it to. I'll make sure put it in chat so everybody can get it.
All right. Yeah.
Put it in chat. But and so Sister Shan, what we found, especially, and it's ironic that you just mentioned TikTok. What I saw at school, and I'm the business tech guy. My focus is on the programming and the project. But as I was engaging the students the other day, I looked at everybody on these goddamn phones. And that is the biggest distraction in school, number one. Number two, it is a dangerous weapon to be used because they're using social media, texting to convey different messages. And so I was thinking like, shit, we need to come up with a policy to take these goddamn phones while children are in school. So I was conveying that to one of the assistant principals, and she hit me with this app called Our Pact, P-A-C-T. And Our Pact helps the parent to immobilize the phone while their children are in school, and they can only perform certain functions on the goddamn phone. And so now when we get to the personal responsibility and accountability that Tamani talked about earlier, we now mandate that starting school, the parent and the child has this app. They gotta have the app on the phone. And now their phone during this particular point, it gets immobilized, right? Because you don't need a phone to text during school. And it's only a few numbers that are allowed to be called. We have to understand that this technology is fucking these children completely up. It's fucking them up. I'm telling you, it's fucking them up. And you have all these little micro games. And so we gotta have fathers or concerned brothers like myself. I don't have children in the school system. So I've just been doing grassroots advocacy work for 26 years in Shreveport now, over 30 plus years in other cities, but 26 directly here in Shreveport. And so we just mobilized, organized, and now we start to build on that end. And we had a good working relationship with Dr. Kim Pendleton, the principal, and now we rock and roll. Tomorrow is our first Dad's on Duty sponsored project. We're doing a holiday motivational pep rally. I got a brother coming in, DJ Love, to play some positive hip hop music, Brother Naru. Won't be any toxic music. We're gonna have some dance competitions. The mayor's coming to speak. We got city councilmen coming to speak, and we're gonna have dance competition. And so we're gonna send them off on a positive note. That's gonna happen the last hour and we're gonna give away. We got $360 in gift cards to give away to Starbucks, and I'm gonna give a couple of dollars away. And so we're gonna let them know. These are some of the things that Dads on Duty will be doing for them. It's a lot of stuff that we're gonna do as we raise these dollars. So yeah, eventually we'll make our way to Colorado, because I'm telling you, man, people are calling us throughout the damn world, man. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But I'm glad.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Craig.
I'm just telling you, I'm glad that Shannon is keeping up.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry, everybody. I got to run to catch the store before they close, so I got a boogie. So,
All right, there, brother.
as always, thank you guys for being a part of the show. We sincerely appreciate it. Please share this with some melanated Black folk that look like us who want to do something. And hopefully we'll see you guys next Thursday as well. We have our movie review this coming Saturday morning, 9 a.m. Central.
And the dog.
Yeah, 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific, 8 Mountain. We're reviewing the movie Wag the Dog. And if you ever made one of our movie reviews, then all of them are absolutely awesome. And just like the Revolutionary Code, Brother Craig does an awesome job with the movie review. So with that, always remember that no one can do everything, but if everyone does something, everything will get done. And absolutely, always remember that nothing is more sacred than the liberation, empowerment, freedom, and salvation of Black people. Because the Black people don't make it, we through, because we Black. Y'all have a good one. God bless. Y'all take care.
Peace.
Peace.